What's up, guys? It's Lord Both here for another video, and off the back of a massive win in the form of that Battlefield 6 trailer, which was just completely awesome. The way they took shots at Call of Duty, making fun of Activision and how they do their whole marketing process. I mean, it's great. But off the back of that massive win, EA made even bigger news. Specifically because they're a private company now. Because this comes to us from IGN and it's entitled EA Goes Private in $55 billion deal with PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners. Andrew Wilson to remain as CEO. The article states that EA has confirmed it has agreed to be acquired by an investor group composed of PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners in a transaction valued at approximately $55 billion. It's the largest all-cash sponsor take-private investment in history. That's right, EA for the longest time has been a publicly traded company. And now it is privately owned. Single owners. Can't invest in it anymore. It's shut down. Or at least it's going to be when this sale completes. And some of you might be wondering exactly what is PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners? Well, luckily for you, I did the Googling. And apparently, Affinity Partners is an investment firm that is been formed by and ran by Jared Kushner. That's Donald Trump's son-in-law. You know, the guy who's behind the whole brokering of peace in the Middle East during Trump's first administration. Kind of was the lurking hand of the king vampire looking dude who was super young and you didn't really know what he was doing there, but played a big role in the administration if you follow politics. And apparently he started this investment firm to help broker business deals between Saudi Arabia and Israel because he is a yarmulke person. And of course we know the dealings between Israel and Saudi Arabia and the greater Muslim world hasn't always been buddy-buddy. Also, apparently, Affinity Partners' main investment into them is the PIF, which is the Public Investment Fund, which we'll get to here in just a minute, which are Saudi Arabian based. And what they've basically done here is they have small level investments in fitness technology and some resorts to set up eco resort communities in Albania. Not huge stuff. To be honest, it feels like they're being dragged into the sale by their bigger partners, which is PIF. The second big investor is Silver Lake Technology Management LLC, or just Silver Lake. Silver Lake has been around for a while, since 1999. They are a Silicon Valley technology investment group. These guys have invested in everything from Dell and Motorola all the way to GoDaddy and Airbnb. Hell, these guys were invested in Twitter before Elon purchased it. Do they have any experience actually owning a video game developer? Doesn't seem like it, but hell, neither does Affinity and Partners or whatever the hell's name it was. In fact, the only people that seem like they might have some idea what they're doing or actually interest in the subject of owning a video game development company is these guys. The big guys, the ones everyone's talking about. The Public Investment Fund, or PIF, which is the sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia. That means that this is a state investment fund. It's an investment fund created by the government to go purchase companies. And that's what it's doing. So the government of Saudi Arabia, through this fund, now owns EA. And I could rattle off all the things these guys are involved in, but you can probably guess. It's extensive. And we know that the Saudi Arabians are very invested in gaming and gaming culture. They want Saudi Arabia and they want the Middle East to become the sort of mecca, if you will, for gaming and gaming culture. They've heavily invested in professional gaming tournaments, things like that. So much so that esports has now become almost synonymous with the Middle East and Saudi Arabia. But yeah, in short, those are the people that now own EA. Saudi Arabians, the people that they drug along, and a Silicon Valley tech bro company. What's really interesting though are some of the details of this deal. The article states that under the terms of the agreement, the group will acquire 100% of EA, with Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, PIF, rolling over its already existing 9.9% stake in the company. EA stockholders will receive $210 per share in cash. That means if you own stock right now of EA, if you own a whole share, you will get $210. That's the value of that share. However many shares you have, you're going to get that times the shares. As for the company itself, EA will be continued to be led by CEO and guy who looks like the leader of the douchey fraternity in the 1980s film that is about rival fraternities made by National Lampoons or whatever, Andrew Wilson. And they will remain headquartered in Redwood City, California. I wonder how long that's going to last with how expensive it is to just exist in California. Andrew Wilson's statement is as follows: our creative and passionate teams at EA have delivered extraordinary experiences for hundreds of millions of fans, built some of the world's most iconic IPs that you then drove into the ground over the past decade, and created significant value for our business, yes, by farming our customers. This movement, or this moment, is a powerful recognition of their remarkable work. Really, getting bought out by private investors is a moment of recognition for their remarkable work? I would think continued significant success would be that, but that's just me. Looking ahead, he continues, we will continue to push the boundaries of entertainment, sports, and technology, unlocking new opportunities. When is the last time that you ever thought of EA as pushing the boundaries? EA haven't pushed the boundaries of anything in a decade. You know what I think of when I think of electronic arts? I think of playing it safe and trying to milk customers for as much money through microtransactions as possible. He continues, together with our partners, we will create transformative experiences to inspire generations to come. I am more energized than ever about the future we are building. Well, yeah, he's going to say that. He's staying on at the company. What are you going to do? Trash the new owners? What's really interesting about this deal, though, what's really interesting is that this is actually a leveraged deal. What does that mean? Well, the article states right here, the deal is for an equity investment of approximately $36 billion and a $20 billion of debt financing fully and solely committed by JP Morgan Chase Bank, $18 billion of which is expected to be funded at close. Each of PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners plan to fund the equity component of the financing entirely from capital under their respective control. What does that all mean? Well, it means that this is a leveraged investment, a leveraged buyout. That simply means that PIF and the other partners decided that they're going to put up the actual capital, the money that they have personally, to buy the company in the tune of $36 billion. So how are they going to make up the difference? Well, they're going to borrow it from JP Morgan Chase to the tune of $20 billion. It's interesting because since this is a leverage deal, as all the reports are saying, that means that PIF, Silver Lake, and all of them, they went to JP Morgan and said, hey, we want to buy this company, EA. We want to do a leverage deal. So that means that we're going to put this amount of money up. You're going to fund the other half of it. And if we can't pay you back, we're going to use the assets and everything attached to EA as collateral. Meaning that if they can't pay the bank back, the bank gets all of EA. All the assets, IPs, all of it. And then assuming if the bank had control of it, unless JP Morgan is interested in running a game development company, they'd probably just sell it off or sell the assets off through a liquidation. But typically, before they get to that stage, the company itself, the investors, PIF and all of them, they would actually have a liquidation first to try to pay back JP Morgan Chase. Meaning, if things don't go well at EA, you could look at the possibility of EA being dismantled, its IPs sold off, and it's shut down as a company. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying under the terms of this deal, that's a possibility. And we all know it seems like every developer, large or small, seems to be 1 to maybe 3 flops away from just not existing anymore. The margin for error in something like Hollywood and television is really small. The margin for error in video game development is even smaller. One thing people have come to the immediate conclusion to on this as well is that PIF and these other investors, they're going to be very concerned about trimming the fat of the business, getting leaner and meaner, getting rid of excess spending, essentially. And they're going to find a lot of ways to cut down on that spending, which typically means redundant jobs are going to get cut, and fast. Which brings us to this, from Insider Gaming, new EA owners hoping AI will cut costs and boost profits, its claim. The article states that Electronic Arts' new owners are baking big on AI in the future for the company. According to a new report from the Financial Times, the ownership group is betting on AI being able to significantly cut CEA's operating costs. Per the report, the enhanced use of AI will be used as a way to also boost EA's profits in the coming years. This will allow the new owners to, quote, manage a large debt load on a company that historically carried limited net debt. This means that PIF and the other investors, their plan is to use AI as much as possible to develop video games and push AI within the subsidiaries of EA to be used to develop video games, essentially to cut unnecessary jobs. If AI can do the job, if AI can do the animation, if AI can do the rendering, we don't need artists to do it. So cut the amount of artists. We only need artists to actually, refine the details, etc., maybe come up with the initial design ideas, but the actual bulk of creation, we don't need artists for. So expect there to be job cuts. Another snap conclusion that a lot of people have reached on this, especially in the anti-woke gaming movement, is that you're going to see a lot less LGBTQ representation in video games. Now, whether you find that a positive or a negative thing, it really doesn't matter to me in this sense. It's just a reality. That's what people are saying right now. And the reason why they're pointing to that is because, well, Saudi Arabia isn't exactly the most progressive country on that sort of thing. And if a state-owned, a government-owned investment fund now owns 100% of Electronic Arts and subsequently the games that they develop, it's not necessarily like all the time that ownership pushes their ideas onto a company, onto their products. But I mean, it's kind of an inevitable thing that happens. I mean, look at Hollywood, look at Disney. I wouldn't call Bob Iger, the CEO, a right-wing conservative anytime soon. I wouldn't call the Disney heiress or a lot of their investment firms super right-wing either. For the longest time, they were okay with left-wing agenda and left-wing ideology being put into their media. So it's only natural to assume that we're going to kind of get a bounce back of that with something like a more highly traditional organization such as the Saudi government getting involved with consumable media. Yeah, I'd bet on that just a little bit. Another thing a lot of people are talking about is microtransactions. Because since PIF and the other investors seem to be very focused on profits and seeing where they can take the company and apparently trimming a lot of the fat with AI, they're also very concerned with where they're going to make the money. And since EA is well known for their pack farms, and we all know that Saudi Arabia is mad nuts about their FIFA, you thought microtransactions were bad for EA right now? You thought Ultimate Team was bad right now? It's about to get a whole lot worse. Expect every single game to have some kind of microtransaction element in it. I would not be shocked if every single game had it, because Andrew Wilson loves it The Saudis are addicted to it, and PIF wants to make hard cash money. So when the stars align, just follow them. But hey, those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go and leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.